Hello everyone, Legend of Eon here, and I have for you guys my IcyLands deck profile. And yeah, without further ado, let's get into it. So what you're going to need are 4 icy landscapes, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Pretty basic, pretty easy and straightforward. And yeah, that's all you're going to need for the landscapes. And the reason why we're playing the landscapes, the IcyLands, is we get to play these frozen tokens on our opponent's landscape. Sometimes you play it on your landscapes as well, but it's got a cool effect where when you place it on there, it says you may not play creatures onto this landscape and then remove by discarding a card during your turn. So you're going to be freezing your opponent's landscapes, and then they're not going to be able to play any creatures unless they discard a card from their hand. So each turn we're going to try to, do our best to freeze our opponent's landscapes because it's an IcyLand deck. So yeah. Alright, from the first cards, we play Frozen Heart. It deals 1 damage to any creature, and if that creature is on a landscape with a frozen token on it, it's going to deal 3 damage instead. So a free action to deal 3 damage, pretty sweet. Then for our last rainbow card in the deck, we play An Empty Coffin. Reduces the cost of my next creature that I play this turn by 2 actions. So pretty much I'm going to be able to play any creature for free. So yeah, it's pretty sweet. On to the other spells in the deck. We play 2 Freeze Ray. This card is able to freeze any target landscape, and then you draw a card. So really awesome. Then we play Snowballer. You get to choose a lane, freeze both lanes in that landscape. Landscapes in that lane. So you freeze one of yours and freeze one of your opponents, and as long as they're in the same lane, they're both frozen. Then this one's a little bit better version, simply because you get to freeze any 2 landscapes. So you can freeze 2 of your opponents, you can freeze 2 of yours, you can freeze 1 of yours and 1 of your opponents, and it can be in any lane, which is awesome. This card is pretty much a better version in a way, because you have to draw a card. So you freeze 1 of each player's target landscape, then draw a card. So if you're playing with multiple people, this is able to choose 1 of each of your opponents, and then boom. So really nice. And then you're able to draw a card off of it as well. Sweet. This card is simply super overpowered. Bomb Pop. Destroy 1 creature in any lane that has a frozen token on it. So you freeze it, and then you get to destroy it. Then we play 2 Freezing Points. Freeze each of your opponent's landscapes. So in the beginning of the game, you can definitely use this card and then freeze all their landscapes, and now they gotta discard cards to play creatures. Even if there's a creature there already, if they want to replace it, they gotta discard cards. Yeah. Onto the creatures, we play Softy Recruit. When Softy Recruits enters play, if your opponent does not control a creature in this lane, you gain action. So it's pretty much a free card. If you play it right, you just play it on the landscape, and your opponent doesn't have a creature, and you gain that action back. So pretty nice. I only play it as 1 of, simply because it's not freezing anything. So then we play Patriot Popsicle. When this card enters play, you may freeze a landscape in this lane. So you play it, and then you freeze your opponent's landscape. So pretty sweet. And it also puts a body on board. That's kind of the difference between the spells and creature spells. Then we play 3 Ice Cream Sammy. You get to pay an action, you flip this card, then choose a lane, and you freeze both those lanes, landscapes in that lane. So each turn you're able to just pay an action and you start freezing stuff on your opponent's things. However, you also freeze landscapes on your side as well. So this card combos really, really well with the Snowballer. So Snowballer's effect says that you can remove a frozen token on Snowballer's landscape to deal 3 damage to any creature. So with the Ice Cream Sammy, you can pay an action, floop it, target his landscape, and target the other landscape, and then remove the token to deal damage to any creature. So really awesome. And then the frozen tokens, once the landscape's already frozen on it, you cannot add another frozen token. I think you can only have 1. Kind of wish you could stack them, but it would be too broken. Then we play 2 Slade Rider. Very similar to Snowballer. However, you can just floop it to deal 3 damage to target creature on a landscape with a frozen token on it. So you can freeze, say for example, your opponent's turn, they discard a card to play a creature. Then on your turn, you can freeze that lane, and then you can deal 3 damage to it. So any creature that has a frozen token on it, you're able to deal damage, which is really sweet. Free damage. Then we play Icy Commando. This card is more of a late game kind of card. Once your opponent's hand starts dwindling down by discarding a bunch of cards, simply just to play some creatures out, and also because we play so many removal as well, we're kind of dealing a lot of damage to our opponent's creatures, and they pretty much don't have anything on board. So eventually, late game, they're gonna have a bunch of IcyLands, no creatures out, and low hand. So Icy Commando has +1 attack for each landscape with a frozen token on it. You definitely want to play this card when there's an empty lane on your opponent's side, so you get to do some free extra damage. So sometimes this card can go for 4 to 7 to 8 damage, which is a lot. So it counts for yours as well, so pretty sweet. Then last but not least for the creatures, this card is literally the whole point of the deck. This card is able to draw you immensely amount of cards. I don't know if that sentence was correct, but I don't care. Anyway, 4-star Fudge. Each time a landscape becomes frozen, you draw 1 card. So going back to all these other cards that you freeze landscapes with, it gets pretty crazy. So like, for example, the Ice Cream Sammy, play in action, you floop it and you freeze 2 landscapes. If 4-star Fudge is out, you're able to draw 2 cards. This one you draw 1. It just keeps going. So a cool combo with this deck is on your turn, you would have him out, play Unempty Coffin, reduce the cost of your next creature you play this turn by 2 actions, and then you play the 4-star Fudge. You still have the 2 actions left over. Then you can play Freezing Point, that pays all of your actions out. Then freeze each of your opponent's landscapes. Since there's 4, you freeze 4 of them. 4-star Fudge effect will allow you to draw 4 cards. Pretty busted. So yeah, that's kind of one of the cool combos. This one, you freeze 2 landscapes, draw 2 off of this, draw 1 off of that, so you draw 3 cards. Draw 2, freeze 2, like it's just really good. So yeah. Anyway, so that is the deck profile. Hopefully you liked it, and yeah. Thank you so much for supporting the channel, and see you guys again next time. Bye!